gentlemen, welcome to the World Center of Racing, the Daytona International Speedway for the Great American Race. This is the Daytona 500. We're ready to kick off season number 3 of the ChrisKraft Cup Series. 36 of the biggest NASCAR stars are here today to start off season number 3. And we got quite a front row for you. Kyle Larson on the pole. He was the fastest qualifier. Finished second in duel number 1. Well, finished because of a caution. Speaking of which, we had a lot of drivers in backup cars today as they did not make it into the duels safely. And those drivers are Austin Cindric, Kyle Busch, Austin Dillon, Chris Buescher, Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr., Hunter Nemechek, and Joey Logano. All these guys are in backup cars here today, and we're going to see if they can come up through the field to maybe have a shot at it. Anything can happen here. 10 laps around this 2.5 mile beast. We're going to see what happens. Here's a couple ones to watch today. Kyle Larson, not the best on super speedways, but he did end up being the fastest qualifier, so we'll have to see how that plays out for him. And then just behind him, you got Michael McDowell. He's been struggling in the ChrisKraft Cup Series lately. Almost had a win in season number 1 at the ChrisKraft Raceway, but got robbed by Chase Elliott. He's looking to redeem himself and hopefully start off the season well with a win today. And then just behind him, you got Denny Hamlin, the king of Daytona International Speedway. 3 Daytona 500 championships in real life, and we're going to see if he can get one for the first Daytona 500 here in the ChrisKraft Cup Series. Ross Chastain starting in the 9th position, just recovered from his injury in race number 4 of the ChrisKraft Cup Series season number 2. And we're going to have to see how he does here. He's a really good super speedway racer, so I would not be surprised if he's a factor today. Shane Van Gisbergen in the Colleague Racing number 16 today, as starting about mid-pack, I'd say. Starting next to Daniel Suarez. He's not amazing on super speedways. His specialty is road courses, but he's decided to give it a shot here today since AJ Allmendinger is not feeling well, so we're going to have to see how Shane does behind the wheel of the 16 car. Those are your drivers to watch out for. And now, for the most famous words in motorsports, giving the command to fire the engines today, Kevin James.
I just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops, God bless America, and gentlemen, start your engine!
We are in store for a great race here today for the Daytona 500. This is season number 3 of the ChrisKraft Cup Series. Here is your starting lineup. On the front row, you got Kyle Larson and Michael McDowell. In row 2, you got Denny Hamlin and William Byron. In row 3, you got Brad Keselowski and Alex Bowman. In row 4, you got Christopher Bell and Jimmy Johnson. In row 5, you got Ross Chastain and that Jones boy, Eric Jones. In row 6, you got Chase Briscoe and Zane Smith. In row 7, you got Corey LaJoie and Anthony Alfredo. In row 8, you got Harrison Burton and Daniel Suarez. In row 9, you got Shane Van Gisbergen and Bubba Wallace. In row 10, you got Noah Gragson and Daniel Hemrick. In row 11, you got Josh Berry and Carson Hocevar. In row 12, you got Kimi Räikkönen and Ryan Preece. In row 13, you got Ricky Stenhouse and Connor Daly. In row 14, you got Ty Gibbs and Austin Cindric. In row 15, you got Kyle Busch and Austin Dillon. In row 16, you got Chris Buescher and Ryan Blaney. In row 17, you got Chase Elliott and Martin Truex Jr. And in the final row, you got Hunter Nemechek and Joey Logano. The cars are lined up and ready to go for the Daytona 500. Are you ready for some great racing here in Daytona? Well, I'd get ready if I were you, because, ladies and gentlemen, the ChrisKraft Cup Series is back in business. Season number 3 is underway. Larson gets to the early lead, and he's going to go up top with his 200 teammates. They lead down the backstretch. The top lane clear of Denny Hamlin. He gets sideways. Larson leads the first lap of the Daytona 500. Now Chase Elliott has joined the other Hendrick boys as they continue to lead. And oh, we got trouble. Brad Keselowski around and hard into the wall. And he collects two other drivers from Joe Gibbs Racing. Denny Hamlin and Christopher Bell are out of this race as well. Man, I'm not even sure what happened. All I know is that these cars are way too damaged to continue on. Let's take a look at the replay. Oh, Keselowski gets hooked by Christopher Bell, and Denny Hamlin gets into the quarter panel of Bell and takes them both out as well. What an unfortunate ending to these three drivers, as they were having a pretty good day so far. They started up out front, and it all goes up in smoke. We will restart with 3 laps complete. Kyle Larson and William Byron are on the front row. The green is out again. This time, Kyle Larson and William Byron lead him to the stripe. Seems pretty even so far. Larson gets a little bit of an edge over his teammate. Byron gets a push from behind, and he's going to come to the lead down the backstretch into 3. Byron completely clears his teammate, and now Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson hop up to the top side. And Bowman's going to try to do the same if he can, but the Chevys are dominating today. Bowman joins the Hendrick train as Byron continues to lead. Chastain on the bottom with a huge run. Chastain to the lead out of 4. Oh, big trouble. Several cars are rounding on the front stretch as the big one strikes and Jimmy Johnson flips it over. The caution is out. A huge crash on the front straightaway here in Daytona. Oh, man. And the red flag is going to be thrown, and the cars are going to stop on the back straightaway after a violent crash here at the Daytona 500 to kick off the 3rd season of the ChrisKraft Cup Series. And there were 14 cars involved in the accident. Kyle Larson and William Byron were 2 of those 14 to be in the incident, but those 2 have escaped. That might be one of the biggest crashes that we've ever seen in the ChrisKraft Cup Series. Nothing will beat Talladega from season number 1, though. That was horrible. Ladies and gentlemen, all drivers have climbed out of their race cars. They are all okay, which is always a good sign. And we're going to take a look at the replay. I have no idea how this started. And it looks like Corey LaJoie got the wrong push from Zane Smith, and that started a whole chain reaction. And it was in front of the field, too. That is even worse. Man, what a horrible wreck here at Daytona. Let's look one more time. LaJoie got sideways off the bumper of the 38. Got into the 62, who was also having a good day. And then just pure chaos from there. And then that's where Jimmy Johnson flipped it over. As you see Martin Truex Jr. and Chase Elliott in the middle of that destruction. As the big one strikes in Daytona. Only 21 cars remain in the field of the 36 that started. We're going to head to a commercial break as we get this absolute madhouse cleaned up. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. One commercial break later. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are ready for the restart. 3 laps remain in the season number 3 Daytona 500 for the ChrisKraft Cup Series. Ross Chastain and Alex Bowman will lead them to the green flag. Here we go. Still looking dead even off the restart. Chastain with a little bit of an edge for the push from Michael McDowell. Here comes Alex Bowman looking for that spot. Chastain still with the edge. The 3rd lane has formed. Here comes Kimi Räikkönen. Alex Bowman's going to take the lead. Briscoe goes around, but somehow saves it, and the 3rd lane is dying out. Bowman gets pushed out of the way, and Connor Daly to the lead. Daly gets turned by Bowman, and Bowman takes back the lead. They are now dead even once again for that top spot. Coming around, white flag one more time around, and they're crashing behind them, but who cares? Alex Bowman and Ross Chastain still side by side, and they're going to crash. They're both hard in the inside wall, and now it's Michael McDowell and Ryan Preece leading them down the backstretch. The 3rd lane has formed once again here in the end, and there's still wrecking coming to the line. Who's it going to be? Michael McDowell wins the Daytona 500. Man, that was one of the craziest endings to a Daytona 500 that I've ever seen, wrecking the whole entire last lap pretty much. As you see there, Alex Bowman and Ross Chastain, big contenders of the day. Ryan Preece there at the end, along with Austin Cindric, who tagged him, and that's what sent him around and ended his day right before he came to the line. And there's Austin Cindric next to the outside wall, one of the many DNFs here. Only 13 cars crossed the line. Yes, you heard me correctly. 13 cars. And we started with 36. So let's go through a quick rundown of your results. Obviously, taking home the win was the 34, Michael McDowell. Coming in second was Kyle Larson. In third, Connor Daly. In fourth, Chris Buescher. In fifth, Carson Hocevar. In sixth, Austin Dillon. In seventh, Kimi Räikkönen. In eighth, Josh Berry. In ninth, Joey Logano. And in 10th, the 21 of Harrison Burton. In 11th, the 14 to Chase Briscoe. In 12th, the 47 of Ricky Stenhouse. And then in 13th, the final car that was still running that crossed the line, the 10 of Noah Gragson. And the rest of these cars are DNFs. Ryan Preece finishing 14th, Austin Cindric finishing 15th, Ross Chastain finishing 16th, Alex Bowman 17th, Ty Gibbs comes home 18th, John Hunter Nemechek 19th, and Kyle Busch 20th. Anthony Alfredo with a 21st place, Chase Elliott in 22nd, Zane Smith with 23rd, Daniel Hemrick 24th, and Shane Van Gisbergen 25th. Martin Truex Jr. 26th, Corey LaJoie 27th, Ryan Blaney 28th, Daniel Suarez 29th, and Bubba Wallace 30th. Eric Jones 31st, Jimmy Johnson 33rd, Sorry about that. Denny Hamlin 34th, Christopher Bell 35th, and Brad Keselowski with a 36th place. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here for season number 3 to kick off the ChrisKraft Cup Series here at the Daytona International Speedway in the Daytona 500. What a finish we had. The big one striking mid-race, which it usually does, and wrecking almost the entire last lap, and then a photo finish to cap it all off. Michael McDowell comes out on top over Kyle Larson and Connor Daly. Well, that is going to do it for race number 1 of season number 3 of the ChrisKraft Cup Series. Thank you all so much for watching. I don't really know when the next race will be because I want to see if I can get a couple more new diecasts for the next race. So it could be a while, it could not be a while. Who knows at this point? Anyway, thank you so much for watching. ChrisKraft signing out.